loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Rye and this is Rye's Reading Corner. And today I'm going to be going over with all of you my anticipated releases for January, February, and March. Again, hello, I'm Rye and this is Rye's Reading Corner. If this is the first time you are seeing my face or if you've not yet hit the subscribe button, please do so. It's super easy and it really helps my channel grow. So, as you can tell by my thumbnail and the little introduction, today I'm going to be going over my anticipated releases for January, February, and March of 2022. So, I do have soaking wet hair because I just washed my hair and I wasn't planning on filming, but we're just going to go with it because we just love anything on this channel. We don't care what we look like because it's not important, right? So, we're gonna go with it. And yeah, so I'm super excited to be filming this video because there are so many books that I am itching to read in 2022. So last year I did a video around this time, but I did it for releases for the entire year. I'm not gonna do that this year because I felt like a lot of things changed. Like there were books that I was super excited about that I talked about in my video that were maybe being released in July. By the time July came, I wasn't excited for them anymore, or there were things that popped up that I had become excited for, or things were released that weren't announced in January that we found out maybe in like October. So I felt like for my sanity, and I feel like it would make more sense for me, myself, and the channel to just do it every 3 months. So I know some of the books I know a lot more than others because they're part of a series. If it is a part of a series, I'll just kind of go over like the first book, but I don't want to go into anything like spoilerized if it is a series. So I do have my computer. I have a list of all of my anticipated releases for the whole year so far. I'm trying to be super organized this year. That's one of my goals. But again, we're just gonna be going over January, February, and March. So let's get started. All right, so the first release is on January 4th, and this is Where the Drowned Girls Go, I think it is. Yeah, Where the Drowned Girls Go by Shawnee McGuire. This will be the 7th book in the Wayward Children series. I absolutely love this series. It's right over my shelf over here. This series is a fantasy series. They're a portal fantasy, more specifically, where we have a group of children that have all gone to these alternate worlds, and their worlds are based off like their needs in life, kind of. And when they come back, they really struggle. For one, no one believes them of where they went to. Two, most of them want to be still back in that world, so they really struggle being back into our real world. So they go to this school for the wayward children where they help them adjust and or find their portal again. So this is the 7th one in the series. Some of them can be read as standalones, like the 6th one definitely could, but some of them do follow the same kind of like plot line. The last book was a tad disappointing for me. I gave it 3 stars, which is the lowest. Usually they've all been, I want to say 5 stars. There may have been one that's been 4.5, but it was a tad disappointing for me. There were some things that I felt that points in the other parts of the books that I absolutely love were lacking from that book, but I have really high hopes for this one, and I think the cover is really pretty, so I'm excited for this one. The next book is Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Rachel Lynn Solomon writes YA contemporary romances as well as adult. This one is adult. It takes place as in a TV studio like meteorologist, which I think is really, really cool. Our main character, Ari, is really fascinated with weather, and in her office, her boss currently has broken up with her husband. They have divorced, and things in the office aren't great, and so she can kind of commiserate with the gentleman that works in as a sports broadcaster. I think his name is Russell. And they work together to try and bring them back together. However, there is a budding romance between Ari and Russell. So I'm really excited. I know a lot of people didn't care for The X-Talk, which is Rachel Lynn Solomon's adult book that she released in 2020. I liked it, so I am super excited to get into this one. And I think the cover is super cute as well. Okay, so the next one is released on January 11th, and this is The Monarchs. And this is by Cass Morgan and, why am I drawing a blank? Danielle Page. So Danielle Page and Cass Morgan. This is a sequel to The Ravens, which was released in 2020. Absolutely love this book. It was a 5-star for me. This is a witchy sorority story. A new adult, I want to say. It takes place in college. We have our main character who is going to college, really, really excited, and she meets some girls there who she kind of has this connection with, and some things start happening, and it comes out that the sorority that she is starting to meet these girls is a coven for a sorority. Things things start happening, a little bit of some slasher stuff. This is like a mix of Scream Queens meets the Coven season of American Horror Story. This is told from dual points. One is the girl that's coming to college, and the second one is like the president of the sorority and of like the witch coven branch that they're working with. So some people go missing and they have to work together, and also our main character is discovering that, you know, she may have a place in this sorority that she did not even know she had. So yeah, I'm super excited for the Monarchs. This will be one that I will definitely get on the day it releases. All right, so the next one for January, and I feel like a lot of people who like romance are going to be excited for this one, and this was on January 18th, and this is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I read Colleen Hoover when I was younger, and I then didn't read her for a very long time, and then this year I read It Ends With Us towards the end of the year, and it is now one of my favorite books of all time. So I am going to be on a Colleen Hoover binge in 2022. This is her newest book. It is already pre-ordered, and it talks about a woman who has been in prison, and she has gotten released. And that's all I really know, because I want to go into her stories not knowing much, because I feel like if I know anything, it might take away from things. And I think for It Ends With Us, I was so happy I knew nothing about it, but I am super hyped with it. I think it's going to be an interesting aspect of the romance, and a woman who is just recently released from her incarceration, and I am super excited. So again, pre-ordered. I cannot come soon enough. All right, so the next ones are now going to be in February, and so I have a lot for February. I'm looking at my computer right now. So the first one is on February 1st, and this is Count Your Lucky Stars by Alexandria Bellfleur. This is number 3 in the Written in the Star series. Now, this is kind of weird that I'm putting this on here, because I have not read any of these like books in this like queer romance series. But I don't care, because for 1, the cover is gorgeous, 2, it's sapphic, and 3, I think I'm absolutely going to love this series. I will be hopefully reading the first 2 quite early in the year so that I can get to this one. I have not read the synopsis because I don't want to know anything just in case it does spoil anything. I do think it follows different couples, but I don't know if those couples are intertwined with the 2 other stories. So I have been put off on reading the synopsis, but I just can't wait to read. Give me all of the sapphic romance, and yeah, super excited. So the next one is on February 8th, I believe. Yes, February 8th, and it's called Ophelia After All, and this is by Raquel Marie. So I'm going to read the little blurb, because this is what hooked my right off the bat. It says, a teen girl navigates friendships, drama, and the end of high school in discovering her queerness in Ophelia After All, a hilarious and heartfelt contemporary YA debut of author Raquel Marie. So 1, buzzwords, it's queer romance. I am all for that. It's a debut author, which I absolutely love supporting debut authors. I feel like I heard somewhere through someone else's videos that this author had something to do with also BookTube at one time, which is even cooler, and the cover is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm super excited for this one. I think this will be one that I'll definitely be jumping on real quick as soon as it's released on February 8th. All right, the next one needs no introduction. This is Sarah J. Maas's new one. This comes out on February 15th, and this is House of Sky and Breath. That is such a mouthful to say. Like, I feel like it's so awkward, House of Sky and Breath. But, you know, we're going to go with it. This is the sequel to Crescent City, which I just recently read Crescent City this month, and absolutely I'm obsessed with it. It's a new favorite book of all time. If you're not familiar with Sarah J. Maas, she is a fantasy author. This is her adult... Someone's calling me. How rude. This is was her first big adult fantasy novel. And this takes place with our main character, who is half fae and half human, and she is navigating this world, and it's an urban fantasy. The romance is awesome in the story, but the plot line is really good as well. She is, you know, I don't want to give anything away, because, and don't read the back of the book, because the back of the book spoils something super big right off the bat that kind of sets up the entire story, so don't do that. This book gave me so many like CSI vibes set in a fantasy world with angels and with fae and werewolves, and it gives you everything that you could want in a paranormal fantasy, urban fantasy. Yeah. Go read this book. Don't hesitate. But yeah, I cannot wait for this one. I have this one. I think I have this one pre-ordered. If not, I'm going to be, because I need this in my hands right now. Okay, so the next one comes out on February 15th, and this is called All the Right Reasons by Bethany Mangle. So what caught my eye on this book is the tagline on Goodreads says, "The Bachelor meets Gilmore Girls." in a young adult romance about a girl who joins her mother on a reality dating show for single parents only to fall for the contestant's son. So I saw the word Gilmore Girls, and that's all I needed to know because I am the biggest Gilmore Girl fan ever, and I was completely sold. I have found that I do really like also reading about like Bachelor show contestant books, so I think that would be a really fun twist. And the fact that it's for single moms, I think is so awesome. And that she falls in love with one of the contestants' son. I think this will be really fun. Again, debut novel, Gilmore Girls, buzzwords, and the cover is absolutely gorgeous. So that's all I needed to know for that one. I was sold right when I heard Gilmore Girls. Okay, so the next book is I'm So Not Over You, and this is by Cusco Jackson, and this is going to be published on February 22nd of 2022. So this is a queer romance story, and the cover, first of all, completely caught my eye. I didn't need to know anything else about it, and then when I dived a little bit more into it, I got super excited. So quickly, it says a chance to rewrite their ending is worth the risk in the swoony romantic comedy from Cusco Jackson. And it looks like it is a fake dating romance, which is one of my favorite tropes in romances. I love a good fake dating story. So, and this cover is just immaculate. So I cannot wait for this one. How many times am I going to say this in this video? I don't know, but we're going to go over it. Next one is going to be released again on February 22nd, and this one is Delia Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. So I read 2 or 3 books by this author this year, and I really, really liked her writing. So this is going to be an adult queer romance story, and it looks like it might be the beginning of a series because on Goodreads it says Bright Falls #1, which is really exciting. So this is a clever and seamy queer romantic comedy about taking chances and accepting love with all its complications by debut author Ashley Herring Blake. So she's not a debut author, so maybe a debut author in terms of an adult book because she's written middle grade and YA before, so maybe that's where it's going at. I don't really know too much about it, but I cannot wait. Again, all I needed to know that it was a sapphic romance adult story, and the cover is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm sold. I'm not going to go into tons of synopsis on these books because, for one, they're definitely all on Goodreads, and 2, this video would be so long, and I'm not going to do that to you. All right, so that is all for February, and now we're going to move to March. All right, so on March 15th, we have the Queen Jennifer L. Armentrout's new book, and this is War of Two Queens. I don't know if this follows the first 3 books, or the first 2, is it 3, or is this a part of the prequel? I didn't really want to read too much into the synopsis because I am a little bit behind on some of the books. I really am struggling with, I'm trying to think of what it's called, the Gilded Bone one. I have to finish that one, and I have to read the prequel, but I am super excited. I love the covers, and I love this fantasy world, and yeah, so I'm hoping this one is as good as some of the other ones. Go ahead. Gilded Bone is just, I'm really struggling. So if you want to buddy read that, let me know down in the comments below so that we can prepare for this release in March. And the next one again is on March 15th, and this is the Book of Cold Cases by Simon St. James. This is a horror-esque book. I believe it's horror or thriller. This author has written several books. I have one of them. I think it's The Sundown Motel. Yeah. So they've written this book, which I really want to get to. I've not gotten to. And I know that they released a book this year as well. This one really caught my eye. And so I'm super excited about it. I don't really know much about it. Let's take a look on Goodreads. Okay, so I don't want to read too much of the synopsis on this one just because I like to go into my mystery thrillers very not knowledgeable on the plot line, but so it says it's a true crime blogger gets more than she bargained for while interviewing the woman acquitted of 2 cold cases slaying in the chilling new novel from the New York Times bestselling author of The Sundown Motel. So this looks like it takes place in the 1970s in a town place in Oregon, and where there was a lady killer who really rocked everything, and then I think they'd say a lot of times they have dual plot lines in these books, and so it looks to also be taking place in 2017, and again, that's probably where that reporter comes in, maybe interviewing this serial killer. So I cannot wait for this one. I think it will be very eerie and creepy, and I'm going to be there for all the feels. All right, so the last one I want to talk about is one that I have seen had different release dates. The last time I've checked for me, it was in March. Obviously, all of these release dates are subject to change, definitely depending on where you live, and obviously with the COVID situation and the shortage of paper, these could easily get changed, but the last one is probably my most anticipated one out of all these. I have actually pre-ordered it from Waterstones because I liked the cover on that one, and I believe it comes with like the special edition, and I also will be buying the American edition as well. And this is the sequel to Amari and the Night Brothers, and this one is entitled Amari and the Great Games by B.B. Elston. So Amari and the Night Brothers is one of those adult or middle grade fantasies that I think anyone would enjoy, even if you're not a fan of middle grade. I'm actually giving it to my cousin for Christmas as well. This is a fantasy story where we have our main girl Amari, whose brother has disappeared. The police don't really push the investigation much because he was starting to kind of hang around a rougher group of people, and they deal with a lot of racism. Especially Amari, she is African American, and she goes to a private school where she is in the minority of, and she comes from a different part of town than most of the people that go to that school. But then she finds out that her brother may have had some magical connections, and she now enters this academy, the same one that her brother did, in hopes to figure out what actually happened to her brother. So the found family and friendship in this book is immaculate. The world building is insane, and she's living my dream of being like in this magical world that I would have loved to have been as a kid. So I'm so excited for this book. I am sure it's going to live up to the hype. I have no doubt. I think B.B. Elston is an amazing writer. So yeah, I'm sure there are some that I have forgotten. And if you want to make sure that you don't miss my other ones throughout the year, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know down in the comments below, which books are you most excited for 2022? So as always, if you want to take this crazy journey with me, please make sure you press the subscribe button. If you want to be my friend on any of my other social media platforms, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. All of the information is linked down below. So stay kind of loves, and I'll see you next time. Bye!